Hello, St. Barnabas. Excuse me. Welcome to another Nat interview. I'm calling this one, What Makes Nat Tick? Hello, Nat.
Good evening.
Or good morning, or good afternoon.
Or wherever you are, hello.
These questions, Nat, just so you know, are all from the congregation. I don't think any of them are from me. So I'll just crack on. What makes you laugh?
I think that I laugh fairly easily at most things. I guess I've got quite a dry sense of humour, so I think that that kind of stuff basically.
Good.
Someone with a kind of fairly funny line or observation, those kinds of things.
Okay. What makes you cry?
Oh, pretty much anything. If you want to ask Jay, there are a few films where I'm just guaranteed to start weeping. But I'll let her tell you what those are when she's ready.
What gives you energy?
I suppose maybe that's part of the introvert-extrovert question. And are you energized by being around people, or do you find the company of other people draining? I think that I'm a bit of both, if I'm honest. So I love going to the pub with people. I love spending time with people. I do get quite energized by being around people. But I also find that after a while, my limit is kind of reached and I just need to go and sit down somewhere and read a book for a while, or have some of my own space to kind of reflect and think about stuff.
Okay. So you're probably an omnivert, is what I'll call you then. Omnivert, yeah.
Have you come across the Myers-Briggs thing? Oh, this might be one thing that you need to know about me. On the Myers-Briggs thing, the personality test, there are kind of 4 categories with a kind of spectrum. Where are you between this pole and this pole? The last time I did the Myers-Briggs thing, and I did it kind of fairly in depth, I was pretty much halfway between each pole, all the way down through all the categories.
Oh, wow.
I don't know what that says about me, but that's where I was.
You're an omnivert, is my diagnosis.
Yeah, there we go.
I just made up that term. It sounds good. Best thing you've seen on the canal running? Anything weird, funny, anything very hackney?
I don't know. I think there's something quite nice about seeing some of the wildlife that you do see down there, and I don't know, some of the particularly some of the the kind of bird life on the canal. That's always quite relaxing and quite interesting, I think. Oh yeah, and I'll tell you what, I tend to when I do run, I tend to go quite early. So seeing when you're kind of when it's soon after sunrise, it's just lovely. It's just a really, really beautiful time of day to be on the canal and in Victoria Park.
So remind me roughly where do you guys live again?
So we are on Hackney Road, right next to the Columbia Road junction. So we're at the Shoreditch end of Hackney Road.
Okay. Yeah, I think I've got you.
Sense?
Okay, cool.
So yeah.
Wonderful. What do you do on your day off?
What is on the day off? Usually taking kids to various things, parties, play dates that they might be on, groups that they're part of, that kind of stuff. I guess if we had more time, an ideal day off would probably involve some time in Pavilion or somewhere like that for a coffee, and then a kind of walk somewhere and a film later on.
Brilliant. Best things, simple things, aren't they?
Exactly
if you
right.
weren't vicaring, what do you think you'd be doing now?
That's a really interesting question. I have no idea what I'd be doing now. I don't know. Maybe the practical art. When I first graduated, I graduated with an English degree, and which kind of qualifies you to do everything and also nothing at the same time. And so I ended up doing communications for a few years after I graduated. And I don't know, if I hadn't then gone on into ministry, maybe I'd be still in that kind of world somewhere. But I don't know. The kind of romantic in me, I don't know, I'd be a kind of high-flying Perry Mason type lawyer.
Were there any turning points in your life, i.e. when your whole direction in life changed, if any?
After the year before I went to university, I spent living in Zimbabwe, and I was working alongside, it was kind of an organisation that ran a kind of link between Anglican churches. So every year it would send out kind of 40 or so people to work in different very rural parishes in different African countries, and I went to Zimbabwe and spent kind of 8 or 9 months living in rural Zimbabwe in a village, kind of working alongside the Anglican priest who was there, but also taking a bit of time to spend some time teaching English in a local primary and secondary school. And I don't know if, I mean, turning points is a hard question to answer, but I think that was a really significant year for me. Just in terms of, I guess, opening my horizons, which until that point had been fairly provincial, and, you know, you can only ever see what's kind of pretty much in front of your face. But in terms of making the world feel like the bigger place that it is, that was pretty significant. And I think as well, I'd probably say maybe my second year at university, which was the first time that I really began to get to grips with what it meant to live as a Christian. So not just how does Christianity work on an intellectual kind of coherence level, but what does it actually mean? So if it's all true, what does it mean for the way that I live my life? And I don't think it was until my second year at university that I really began to grapple with that question and think, if this is true, then surely it's got to mean that my life looks different to maybe the way that everybody else is living. And so that was a significant year again, I guess. So maybe those 2 years. Sounds
good to me. I also would have accepted 2020 and moving to St Barnabas Dalston.
Of course.
But that was obvious. You know, we don't even need to mention that.
That was given.